Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do?
Welcome, ladies and gents, to the PWC Rumour Mill. It is the Rumour Mill right here on PWC with me, your mother's favorite Vaz, and we're going to be chatting all about what's happening in the world of professional wrestling. And listen, we got to start with the elephant in the room. We're going to get straight into it. The big one, the one everybody's talking about, and that is the return of CM Punk. Listen, I'm over this already. I'm just saying it. From 2016, we've had his potential return and all of that, and it's just been going on and on and on and on. But we got a cryptic Instagram post where he played a bit of a musical interlude, which happened to be the theme song for the Chicago Bulls, or actually it was some subsidiary team of Chicago Bulls in Illinois, which I get is the venue for AEW All Out. However, a lot of people forget that CM Punk is from Chicago, so maybe he's just supporting his Bulls, after the NBA, I mean, but I don't know. So that's the big rumor: is CM Punk going to be All Elite Wrestling? He has had a couple of instances where he's spoken to fans that he is coming back and he wants to come back. And the question is where he's going to come back. And the thing is, I get AEW trying to get him to come back, and it makes sense for having Punk back in AEW, back in wrestling, opposed to going to WWE. But there's a few factors which are coming into play which could cause a bit of a problem for AEW. And one is a financial factor. And I know a lot of guys don't even talk about this and where the money's coming from in AEW. And Tony Khan is a very rich man, and we get this. We know this. His family is extremely rich. They own football teams. They own soccer teams. They own everything. And that money's not a problem. But when you think about all the people they've already signed and the contracts that these guys have signed onto, and with the pending rumor that Brian Danielson is joining them, you got to know big money's being thrown here. And do they have that type of money to bring in someone like CM Punk? If we remember a couple of months ago, he said the only time he was going to return to wrestling if he gets $1 million contract. That's a lot of money, especially when it comes to professional wrestling. The other thing we need to consider is he's still under contract with Fox Sports. He's been doing a commentary work for their UFC or their mixed martial arts channel. He's also appeared on WWE's Bump show, and which is owned by Fox. It's not owned by WWE, just making that show. So he's not actually employed by WWE. He is solely employed by Fox. But there could be a conflict of interest, as SmackDown is obviously on Fox, and him moving to AEW, which is not on Fox, could be a problem. However, we're not sure of what his contract entails with Fox, on how long it's going to last. If it's a general contract, that means it should be up this year, and probably it was up in June. We haven't heard any renewals or anything like that. And sticking with AEW and potential returns to wrestling rather, I did mention it, Brian Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. He seems to have been done with WWE. Statements have come out that he has not signed a new contract with WWE, and he has done his 90 days non-compete clause since he lost to Roman Reigns at the night after WrestleMania, or the Friday after WrestleMania, and eventually got out of the business in WWE. And the big report is he moving to AEW, or is potential the American Dragon, as he was once known in Ring of Honor, moving back to Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling? As it stands at the moment, it seems like New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to be the ideal place for Daniel Bryan. However, we know he is building a family, and maybe traveling to Japan might not be a good option for him. He is currently based in Seattle with his wife Brie Bella and their kids. And the question is if they're willing to relocate maybe to Japan, or they could move to Ring of Honor and be based in the US at wherever Ring of Honor is based. I think they're based in Seattle. I might be wrong on that one. But yeah, so that is options for him. And sticking with the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, we're going to throw in Impact and NWA in this one. And I did briefly mention in my AEW review that some news was going on, and AEW announced that the signing of Thunder Rosa is officially now an AEW member. And that is not a coincidence that has happened, because it seems like New Japan, Impact, and NWA are a little bit frustrated with AEW in the sense that they have this deal where they can, trade wrestlers back and forth. But it seems like the three smaller of the four, let's say, not AEW, a lot of upset that their company is not being represented in the best way when it comes to AEW. And we've seen a lot of this on Impact. Basically, the entire Impact group have been destroyed, except for the Good Brothers, who are technically Impact wrestlers, but have appeared more on AEW TV than they have on Impact in recent weeks, which is a very interesting talking point there. But they've made their champions look a little bit weak. They've made the entire show look a little bit weak. And when they came into this agreement, it was to help Impact Wrestling gain followers from AEW. But all it's done is take away viewers from Impact into AEW. And a similar thing with NWA, with Nyla Rose now moving. It's just basically taking all those fans away from the NWA. Also, a big one is that according to reports, AEW wanted Nikki James and Nick Aldis to be on AEW Fighter Fest Night 2. However, NWA said no. There's no way they're putting their two biggest talents from there onto there. But it's also noted the fact that Mickey James has now signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Will Impact and NWA still work together, or will they all go their own way? And then finally we move into the WWE, and it's the return of the golden boy. The prodigal son returns, Mr. John Cena. And the question is, how long is John Cena going to be in WWE? And according to his schedule, according to reports, it seems like WWE and John Cena come to an agreement that he will be around up and until WrestleMania next year. So that's a good 9 to 8 months that he is scheduled to be with WWE. It is noted that he is in the next Fast and the Furious movie. No dates have been announced on when production starts for that, but we are assuming it's going to be March, April next year. And if that's the case, then we might not get John Cena at WrestleMania. The other one that we need to talk about is Bill Goldberg, who surprisingly returned to face Bobby Lashley after all the rumors were saying it was going to be Brock Lesnar. And it turns out that Brock Lesnar was not willing to leave his state of Minnesota, where he's currently at, because of lockdown restrictions. They're one of the few states that have not allowed access to outside of the state, where states like Texas are basically saying, guys, come. 5,000 people, 50,000 people, doesn't matter, let everybody come in there. Minnesota's like, no, we're gonna wait. It's winter, I don't know why I put on a Canadian accent, but it sounds similar. Anyway, so that was the reason behind not being able to bring Brock Lesnar in. Apparently, there were travel restrictions in. According to reports, Lesnar is keen to return to WWE and have one more title run, as they put it. But at the moment, he's stuck in his state. Bill Goldberg, however, was free to travel, and it was obviously the next big choice for them to have a big match at SummerSlam. Sorry. The other rumor was it was instead going to be John Cena taking on Bobby Lashley, but they obviously felt Cena and Roman Reigns would have been a better fit. And with that being said, those are all the rumors that are flying around the wrestling world. If you have anything else in the comments below, leave your comments and tell me what you guys think about this. Remember, guys, subscribe and hit notify as well. From me, your mother's favorite, we'll see you guys again next time. Peace and chicken grease.